This is Arukh Yardeh Simon Lamed Sif Yud through Yudalid. This is day 160 of the Supplemental Arukh HaShuchan Yomi series. Yud. So actually, Arukh HaShuchan ended with a difficulty and a test that Rov Keva should always include Rov Gova because of the nature of that cap in the middle of the above the forehead of the animal. You can't say that, explain what the Rambam says, that if the majority of the circumference is concussed by Rov Govo Kaim, and the majority of the height is still intact, we don't find such a thing in reality. So it seems that he means you don't need the concussion to be on the entire area of the majority of the skull, but rather a concussion in a certain line. Let's call it line of latitude. Ocean Vispilas Kola Etzem, either it's around the entire bone, when it's concussed in most of its circumference, on the edges, one line trefa. That's talking about where the concussion goes in a circle. Or when the chavisa, the concussion goes in a straight line, from the middle of the baseline, the lowest line of latitude, until the top, the peak, the pole, in most of its height. Piece of Rov Gova Mamash Malcolm Acher mean Rov Keva. According to this, Rov Gova is literally a different place than Rov Kefa, which was I guess what we call latitude, one longitude. Which name is they both begin below the eyes. But this goes in circumference, it'd be a little bit more than half a circle. This goes straight up to half of the bone, it's going straight up, a little bit more. The language of the Rashba, the Rambam, is the same as the Rambam. Partially, it's obvious that the halacha ish le'asor Rambam Rashba, we have to forbid both according to the Rambam and the Rashba. The bracket says v'tur ish kam perushim v'tur, some interpretations kashla amon aleim. It's difficult to understand them. I appreciate the Yeshiva coming as a Torah Kedrei Rambam and Chum. See, Pisha learns what we in the Torah, like we learned the Rambam Bologna. Okay, that's not seen that way. Achladina and Nafkamina, but in any event, halacha is Nafkamina. Kamash Kasabnu. For Isi Mishipisha Divri Tour, I saw that something contains in the Torah. Mashkas MC so Lamala, that we showed in the middle and above. Shakuna Bamsa Shetach Etza Mamish. That means literally in the middle of the area of the skull. Means where the bone starts rising at an angle. They said that anything which is at the bottom of the bone, in other words, not starting in the middle, but the bottom of before it starts, the angle before the incline starts, the concussion is not forbidden at all. That's the Bach. With very it's astonishing. That's the case. The majority of the height is very similar to the majority of the circumference. Like evidently the Bach had difficulty himself. Language of Lumal does not seem to indicate that. Maybe they learned that way in the Torah. The Sunnah does not look that way in the Rambam. According to what they're saying, Rov Govo is always included again in Rov Kevo. Rov Govo. How does it have the kind of scenario of Rov Kevo without Rov Govo? By the Rambam, clearly the Rambam holds what we said. Shafil Tachtiso Mamish Im at the bottom, literally. If it's concussed just even in one strip, it'll be equal on the all around the circumference on the latitude. Or if it's on the longitude, also in one strip. This is the primary halacha. Says I'm looking for sure. So if there's actually a crack, breakage in the bone, the skull, if it's the size of the cell, it's trefa. When there's such a piece missing, he's calculated the membrane is going to get ruined. Even if the that size of a seller coin is not in one place. Rather, there are small holes throughout the entire continuity of the skull. And in the place of the holes, there's something missing. If when you join all the holes together, it's going to be missing a seller trait, but it's treifa. It's less than the shear. Even are they in age? Not concerned that the membrane will be of the brain will be pierced unless there's this much missing. There are many holes without any actual substance of the skull missing. But then the question is, what is the majority? They join together. The majority is like by the concussion. The base Yosef, it says it's kosher altogether if it's holes which have no haven't caused any loss of the substance of the skull. It seems away from language of Torah. That was that the first opinion that it's a majority of the latitude and longitude. Then you have to be machmir and the several Gedolim agree that this lo garb if it's no better or no worse than the concussion. You can Moshiach Sela. Because the base says shlish teva. The base says right is a third of a tefach. Klamar shlish teva bago. So it's a third tefach diameter rounded. The kef have a tefach. Therefore, in its circumference, it's a tefach. Koshesh bekef tefach. Anything which has in its circumference a tefach. Have a rochav shlish tefach diameter is a third of a tefach. The meruba yesa ego revia kashir Torah. A square. It's interesting way he accomplishes this. He avoids use of pi here. Well, he's going to get into it in his the brackets here. He says the meruba yesa ego revia. The square is greater than a circle by a quarter, kashir Torah, according to the Torah law of measuring. Even square, of course, a square with the diameter, so to speak, when the width of the square is a third of a tefach, it's going to be 4/3 of a tefach. So therefore, quarter, 3/4 that is a three-quarters that is going to be a full tefach, right? So he says, interesting. Even though it's not precise according to the geometers, decreed to measure in this manner. And the bracket says here, that's why the Gemara brings the basis for this measurement from the Am Shel Shloima, where it says ratio of 3 to 1. Because of my part can be 90 million, the question why the Gemara is asking whence is the source. And they say they'll bring a string and measure. On the contrary, it came to since it's not precise, it's not 3.14, it's only 3. And therefore, we should rely on that measure of which is not precise, of 3 through a pi of 3. So measure Torah goes okay. They have to say Torah decreed this. In came in knowledge, it goes okay. So therefore, the question arises there: how did the Torah made this decree? Was there maybe Yam Shel Shlomo? This we bring from the Yam Shel Shlomo that the Navi itself used pi of 3, and there's the famous vort of the Gra there, which we won't get into right now, of Kav and Kava. We know that the Nach itself knew that the cheshbon is not precise, but in the Torah Kushas is Shambaduk. That's a question. Is over there, etc. You doubt. V'da, you should know the feast is Lashon Rambam Torah Shulchan, based on the simple language of the Torah and Shulchan Masha the Chol. The Rambam Torah and Shulchan Masha Chol Minei Behina Bein Bo. It sounds like any animal. Bein Gdol Bein Ktana. Doesn't matter how large the size of the animal. Tzorech Sela. It requires a Sela in order to make a treifa. Because they're kosher, less is kosher. Yeshua Sela b'Behem Gdola. Some say that a Sela is by a large animal. But by a small animal, you go according to its relative size. But they're eaten by less than Sela treifa. And this is Rabbi Yerucham, and they wrote most poskim. And it seems that way from the Rosh. And the great Achayim were concerned as being the Chodesh Tvul short. So you should be machmet. It's a deraisa. Nearly should have same move. Yeshli smoke al the Rebbe saying shlochil b'davar. Says if there's a substantial loss, you can lie on the rabbis would not show us distinction. Sheish meir yishanim the shesayin the chesan goes kol ksher legami and become vur batur. Now the Rishonim hold that if something missing in the skull, it's still completely kosher. The Das Torah Gamarosh Torah, according to Torah, even the Rosh holds that way. And he, the low, Kaimel Kane, granted we don't hold that way, Mikom nevertheless, Bezelon, Ushalona, Kuban, Ktana, and the Yoshesh, Small Pshitus, I'll call it, say Shulchil Kubaz. So, since it's a machlekes, so therefore, when it comes to the question of the holes, we can rely on those who do not distinguish between the large, have same ruba, holes in a large animal and holes in a small animal. And that's it for today.